No problem. Yeah. So, yes. 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 And I think the first is a team from Universitas Gadjah Mada. Yes. And then from I think Amin has sent it. Yeah. So okay. The right time. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Very good afternoon and might be evening in some places, or especially Indonesia. It might be already quite late. We are now come to the session after lunch break, and we will invite the team of Universitas Gadjah Mada, followed by Universitas Education Indonesia, and then from Ho Chi Minh International University, and the last one is University of Social Sciences and Humanities. Might be we can start with the presentation of those teams, please. Okay.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We are from UGM Indonesia. We would like to present our first session, constructing and reconstructing academic courses to address education for sustainability, the case of Universitas Gadjah Mada, Indonesia. This presentation will cover 4 parts, which are introduction, methodology, result and discussion, and the last one is conclusion. UGM is part of Indonesian higher educational institution, thus our activity should cover 3 Dharma educational pillars, which are education and teaching, research, and community service. UGM also pledged to actively support ESG and SDGs goal achievement. There are 10 courses that have been chosen for this process, which are for the university level, university courses. This one is mandated for all of the students. We have student success skill or PPSMB, and then there is 5 pillar or Pancasila, and the last one is student community service or KKM. And then we also have compulsory course for the social science group, which is basic of social science, and for the natural science we have general biology. We also have 5 elective courses, which are conservation biology, ecology, introduction to game theory, hydrometeorology, and Indonesian art and culture. The reason behind why this course is being selected for deconstructing, constructing, and reconstructing are all of these courses attended by majority of the students of UGM. And then the course content are readily support SDGs infusion. The next slide will be delivered by my partner, Dr. Lisna.
Thank you, Dr. Zuliati Rohmah. Okay, to infuse the SDGs and the utilization of ICT in our courses, we conducted 5 stages as in the slide. We used deconstructing, constructing, and reconstructing methods. We also used TREAM methodology for evaluation. Then, to ensure the SDGs infused in our course, we go through the deconstructing step. In this step, we identified whether our course contained 3 components, including the 4 sustainability justice, 10 competencies, and 6 learning pillars of 21st century. After identification, we did construct the course. We added the learning activities that catered SDGs infusion. On reconstructing stage, we utilize ICT as tool to delivery of our courses. For instance, in UGM, we usually use Elo and Google Classroom as the learning machine system. Then Google Workspace to robust the utilization of ICT in the teaching and learning process. Then for the result discussions will be started by Dr. Zuliati Rohmah.
Thank you, Dr. Lisna. The first one is the PSMB or student success skill. This course is mandatory to all freshmen in their first month of college. PPSMB is course that prepare the student for college life. And then in this course, we have part that we call it action plan, in which the student will engage in community engagement activities. These activities are done to increase awareness and empathy of the student to their surrounding community. Usually, these activities will cover almost all of the SDGs goals. The next one is Pancasila. Pancasila is also mandatory course that being taken by all of the students in UGM. In this course, we talk about Pancasila as Indonesian ideology. After reconstructing, the student showed appreciation that they can learn Pancasila in more interesting way. So the student in this course, the student said that although they have already taken Pancasila from their early education, but the way of our college, our university deliver Pancasila make this course seems as a new course for the student. The next one is conservation biology, which is an elective courses from Faculty of Biology. Actually, these courses also cover almost all of the SDGs goals, but it will highlight on the last part of SDGs, which is climate change, life below water, life online, peace, justice, and strong institution, and of course the partnership for the goal, especially for environment sustainability. After reconstructing, the student grow appreciation that this course become more student friendly when they can really talk and discuss about the recent issue on environment, and then they also have to formulate several input for their government or what can they do to really support the SDGs. The next course is hydrometeorology. This is also an elective course from Faculty of Forestry. In this course, from the name, we can really see that this course focuses on clean water and sanitation. In this course, actually, there is also another part which talk about disaster preparedness. So after the reconstructing, we can see in here that students really give positive feedback that they see that this course really prepare them to face the disaster in Indonesia, then also prepare make them more appreciate about the water conservation. The next part will be delivered by Dr. Lisna.
Thank you, Dr. Zuliati. Okay, for general biology course. Okay, general biology course as a mandatory course for first-year student in natural science field. Its potential materials to be implemented with sustainable development goal were identified through the modules prior to revision. Based on identifying the materials in the course, the reconstructed module was able to be assembled by explicitly mentioning its identified SDGs. SDGs number 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 9, 16, and 17. And then for the 3 methodology question was used during implementation on the reconstructed course. Based on the bar chart, most students mentioned that they have not attended any similar course, project, or issues with general biology. In addition, the pie chart depicts the student expectations for the general biology course? The top 3 answers implied that they seek for more knowledge and then new knowledge and to validate prior knowledge. It is because in Indonesia, students have received material about science, especially basic biology, since elementary school. Okay, for the next slide, ecology is also considered mandatory for students in their second year at the Faculty of Biology. Several SDGs such as clean water and sanitation, and then affordable and clean energy, climate action, life below water, and life on land will be explicited in this course. Then, different from the general biology course, most students responded that they had joined a similar course before. On the other hand, only 50% actually had worked in dealing with similar issues. Approximately 41.7% of students expected that course to provide a comprehensive understanding about ecology, since the basics have been explained briefly in the general biology course. The following top answers were to gain practical knowledge and then useful knowledge. This is because the general ecology is also discussed in one chapter in the general biology course. And then next course, Introduction to Game Theory. This course can be taken by second year undergraduate students or above. This course encompasses several topics such as non-cooperative games, and then Nash equilibrium, and Pareto optimal solution. Inside the Introduction to Game Theory, mathematical models are given, which is crucial in solving real-world scenarios, such as preserving energy resources. This can be connected to SDGs number 12, which says responsible consumption and production. We also emphasize SDGs number 1, 2, 9, 11, 12, and 17. We hope we can learn the model to conduct some activities to achieve those SDGs. And then through the 3 methodologies, student overview and previous knowledge were analyzed, being asked whether they had attended similar course, created projects, or had worked on similar issues to the course. Most students had answered no as the bar chart. Meanwhile, their expectation in this course was to gain comprehensive understanding regarding the material given through the course. Okay, and then the next explanation will be delivered by my colleague, Miss Bilkis.
And then the next slide is about the Indonesian art and culture. So Indonesian art and culture is also the compulsory course for students majoring Indonesian literature in the Faculty of Cultural Sciences. It presents a general understanding to see the wisdom of Indonesian art and culture diversity. And this is chosen as one of the revised courses since it's the fundamental course for the students to learn about Indonesian identity and supporting SDG number 11 that says make cities and human settlements more inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Specifically for the target 11.4 that asks for increased efforts to maintain and protect the world's cultural and natural heritage. And in here, we can see that this also support the SDG number 4 about the quality education. I can say that the changes between the prior and updated curricula here. Before, the prior objective of Indonesian art and culture were only to make students have a good understanding about Indonesian art and culture, such as its diversity in history, origins, characteristic, forms, etc. But the updated curricula aim that along with understanding the essence of Indonesian art and cultures, it is also important to transform knowledge and modern ways of thinking towards civilized and cultured communities through ICT within the theme respecting the cultural diversity and contributing to creating a more sustainable world. In here, we can see from the methodology evaluations that after the reconstruction, students who attended this course, they said that it gives them positive effects such as help them to improve in knowledge, skills, responsibility, and self-worth. Meanwhile, from the negative things is that this course also gives them some confusions because of the language barrier, technical difficulties, because this course was taught during the pandemic using the media, etc. And then students also expect that from taking this course, they will gain improvement for their professional and personality development. And then for the next and the last course is students' community services. So this is actually one of the flagship of our university. This is considered as one of the obligatory or compulsory courses at the university level, which must be attended by all of the students of undergraduate in the 3rd year. So they have to perform the community service in the community for at least 2 months with their friends. That consists for 30 people for each group. And in here, during the deconstruction process, we found that actually this course has addressed the SDGs for all goals, but we haven't really explicitly written it in the curricula. And then after the reconstruction, we ensure that all of the SDGs goal has to be one of the core course in student community service. So that's why when the students propose their programs before performing the community service, they have to propose the program, and we make sure that during the proposal they have to include SDGs or which goal that they want to address during their community service in the community. And then in here, for the DREAM evaluation, we can see that most of the students have attended the similar course, that they also have the similar projects experience and working experience with student community service. Maybe because this is like a voluntary things in our community, and in here in university this is obligatory, so each of students will experience at least once for their life to do the voluntary things in community. And then their expectation here by attending this course, so most of the answer students say that they want to gain knowledge improvement, followed by impactful practical program, and then collaborative program, and then for the knowledge sharing. Okay, so what we can conclude from the presentation, from our presentation today, first is that incorporating the SDGs is crucial to improving the course's curricula, as the world is currently facing sustainability crisis. And then in the deconstruction process, we for sure know that the SDGs are not explicitly addressed in the syllabus, but we identified it. So in addition, the 4 dimensions of sustainability justice, the 6 pillars of learning, and then 10 competencies were also identified during the deconstruction process. So we found those concepts, but it's not explicitly addressed. And from the reconstruction, we make sure that this is written in our syllabus or lesson plan. And then the last one is that Correspondingly, the missing aspects are noticed, and the revision process could focus on integrating the missing aspects and the existing aspects in the courses. And the reconstructed module has also included using ICTs to enhance the course. So that's all from us, Universitas Gadjah Mada. If you have any questions, please welcome. Thank you.
Thank you from the team from Universitas Gadjah Mada, and I think we can continue to the second group, which is from the team from University Education Indonesia.
Hello everyone, it is nice to meet you. In this conference, we would like to present our research result about deconstructing, constructing, and reconstructing academic courses to address education for sustainability. Cases of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. So this research based on our project, we call it the ICT EEFS, has been funded by the European Commission Erasmus Plus Capacity Building Program in the field of higher education for the period 2019 until 2023. The background of this project is about how we could support the development of the faculties of education in partner universities to align curriculum, teaching, learning, and research with the area of education for sustainability. And the second one is how to build capacity of academic staff at the faculties of education that will turn them able to contribute to the development, implementation, and evaluation of a wide ICT-enabled in-service teachers training program on education for sustainability. And then how to develop an efficient, cost-effective, decentralized, multiple, and innovative in-service teacher professional development programs enabled by blended learning, focusing on the integration of education for sustainability across school curricula. And then how we could to develop innovative teachings, learning, and curriculum materials in the form of a multilingual e-toolkits addressing the integration of education for sustainability in teaching, learning, and curriculum. And the last one, how to develop a Euro-ASEAN network of ICT-enabled education for sustainability to strengthen cooperation in the field of ICT EEFS and replicability of the produce on outputs and also outcomes. And then how we design the results. This is the methodology. The first one, we're using step one, diagnostic evaluation. And then what we do in this step is reflecting on who we are, what we are, and then what we get, existing knowledge, where we want to go and why we want to go there. And then the step two, it is how we deconstruction. It is how to analyzing critically the functioning of personal perspectives or habits of mind and chosen curricula, unit, or module. The step three, we are how to construction, gathering resources, creating idea, and constructing new meanings by new perspective. And then the step four, it is about reconstructing. It is how to integrate of new constructed knowledge in line with the reconstructed frame of reference. And then the step five, how to implementing, carrying out the constructed curriculum, unit, or module, supplemented by serving learning. And the last step, this call about summative evaluation. I'm sorry. It is about reflecting and evaluating on what has been learned and changed. So, how this project has been implemented in 10 courses in our university. There is graphic media, media technology, publication media, e-learning, instructional media, dairy processing technology, cereals and tubers processing technology, Kapita Selecta of educational technology, mathematics, science, technology, and engineering, and the last one is application mathematics, science, technology, and engineering. Total students who involved in this program around 718. So this is how we do the project, and then this is one of the courses that we have been done. How we implemented the DREAM methodology for graphic media. The first one, how to diagnose the learning process. It is based on that undergraduate students is never attended the course on similar topic that given in any course about ICT enables and also about ESD. So the SDGs issues was not familiar to undergraduate students, and they were surprised that they can study new topics in graphic media, of course, but also this is related or inserted about SDGs. And then how a student's expectation from this course is not just they able to develop graphic media, but also they can infuse the SDGs issues to the media, so they can spread out the media widely with SDGs issues. So what the reflects from this phase, we call it the positive one. Students have new experience how to produce graphic media based on SDGs value, and then learn to improve tenses about learn to know, learn to be, learn to do, learn to live together, learning to yourself and community, learn to give and share, collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity through design, develop, and share the graphic media. But the negative one is it takes time. Student takes time to understand how to infuse the SDGs content to graphic media in subject, because they have to analyze the syllabus before design the media. So student feels that the times is limited to develop media that it is accords with SDGs content. And then the next step is how to explain. Students should be able to learn independently to strengthen the competencies that must be mastered. And then there is still a need for improvement in familiarizing students with independence learning, so that the skills needed can be developed even better. Increase understanding of SDGs value and content. And then how we assess the program. This is the one of the project that the student have to make mind mapping about one topic in SDGs content, and then how they can make some. When we talk about climate change, for example, what do you think? For example, maybe this is about weather is more heater and then so on. So the assessment is carried out through an assessment of SDGs based graphic media products produced by students. So actually, the product is student made the graphic media, and then the content is about SDGs. And then how to manage students become more open to their knowledge and insight about the current world condition, which is increasingly damaged, so that students are expected to be more concerned about the problems that occur in the surrounding environment. This is a summary statement from students. So also students state that I will start from small things, changing habits in terms of disposing of garbage, and then saving electricity and water, maintaining and improving the environment, caring the neighbors and the surrounding area, and other things that I can do to help to the community. So this is my last presents about graphic media, and then we'll continue with other team. Thank you very much.
So we should continue with the.
Hello. It's my pleasure to represent for the team from the International University, presenting the process of deconstructing, constructing and reconstructing academic courses to address the education for sustainability. With the case of the international universities, a member of the Vietnam National Universities in Ho Chi Minh City. So my name is Phạm Thị Hoa. Here show the summary for our presentation. So this presentation we post the process and results for the revisions of 8 courses at the International University through the lens of SDG. The main criteria used was comprised of a 6 learning pillar, the 10 C's, the sustainability justice, and ICT integration. So we would apply a TRIM methodology with 6 stages guided by project PI Professor Makrakis Vasilis. The results of the revision process are presented in the paper submitted for public in the conference proceeding on addressing the 6 main questions, including what, why, where, how, now what, and so what question. Instructed by the project leader, so all of the questions was applies in all of the courses which been under revision. The what question focus on the descriptions of the course before revision, including why it was chosen for revision, and the why question justify the reason for the revision, and where question describe the gap to be filled in the course through the revision process using the criteria of the 6 learning pillar, the 10 C's, sustainability justice, and ICT integration. And then the how question describing the methodology used for the revision. And the now what question show the revised and the update revision, the cost, how it was changed, how it looked like, and how it was changed from what before. Lastly, the so what question discuss the challenge that we met in going through all the preceding processes from beginning up to now, and how it had been tackled. During the revision process, by identifying the remaining gap in the course syllabus with the TRIM methodology, the syllabus of all of courses after revise have clarifying several perspectives, such that the learning outcome, the missing skill and learning requirement which were recognized and the missing were added, and the assessment methods has also been updated to reflect the revised learning outcome. And then through the course outline that integrating all of the criteria, including the integrations of the 21st century skill and training requirement along with the focus on ICT integrations into learning and activities. The learner was recognized being equipped with the more integrated knowledge and skill after study our courses. In addition to focusing on the personal development, the course also develops skill to live responsibly as a member of communities and society at a part of the 10C. So this table show the list of the course that been revised from our university. So we don't have the education department in international university, but we expect to enhance capacities of lecturer at many school and departments under the international university. So there was 8 courses belong to different school and departments of IU were joined the project and been revised for the course syllabus. So I provided in this table the title of the course, revised the school and departments in which the course belong to, and the instructor in charge of the revision for the course syllabus. This table further show the revision results of these 8 courses. So we been estimate the percent of revision of the syllabus from before, compare between the before and after revision. So averagely, the syllabus will change around 20% compare between before and after revision. The course was belong to a different curriculum area, at least in this table, and some of the course are a core course. One is the elective course, and one course required for own university student. So the last 3 columns show the number of semester and the academic years, as well as the number of students attends these 8 courses during our revision process and during the periods of the project. From the results, we have provided here some discussions, opinions, or some of our findings during the revisions of our courses. So we see the evaluating and adjusting of the course outline require an understanding of educational requirement of the 21st century, in which there was many new concepts to some of us, such as critical reflections, critical consciousness. But through the knowledge and tool trained by participating in this project, we was able to better understand these new concepts, as well as the applications of stream methodology, in which the evaluations need to be done 3 times in each semester for the pre-access, access, and review evaluation have bring some pressure in terms of time and workforce for both teacher and students. However, the results of the assessments and the student opinion provides useful information for the adjustments of the curriculum and the improvements of the teaching quality of the subject. Further finding through the course outline, we integrate the 21st century skill and training requirement, along with the focus on the integrations of ICT. Learner be able to equip with more integrated knowledge and skill. In addition to focusing on personal development, the course also develops skills to live responsibly as a member of the communities and society. The course revision process was provided an opportunity for learner to learn how to develop that have improved the capacities of our lecturer in learning how to develop and revise course outline, as well as strengthening our teaching skill to achieve the course learning outcome. The lesson that our group of lecturers learned from participating in this project is the way that we be able to generalize the concepts and translate them into tools to apply as work. In addition, we find that criteria in the 21st century education provides good orientations to integrate all subjects, not limited to the nature of the subject. When a teacher focus on developing knowledge and skill set for learner will be more responsible for their own study and be more responsible to their country and the community. In addition, the focus on sustainability justice through the specific subject will contribute to training people to be a more responsible workforce in the future, making the community develop more sustainably. Addressing to the last question, what is left out and why, and what would be the next action? We at the group of lecturers in international university identify that the education in the 21st century is transitioning from classroom instruction to a project-based model in which teacher act as coach and mentor. We need to change the role of teacher in teaching the course. In addition, the digital technology plays a fundamental role in this education process. Therefore, through the internet and other digital technology that be able to integrate into the course, going to offer more benefit. They also, however, they also expose students to some danger. Therefore, under such advantage and disadvantage that could bring from the ICT, teachers have a knowledge of the related issue such as cyber bullying or ICT security, and identify thieves, so that they can have the students deal with these issues if they arise, and they be able to encourage students to become more responsible web user. Recognizing the need for students for computer skill, we see that the computer skill for some of us are still limited, although more attention has been paid during the course revision for the integrations of ICT. However, some subjects have not been really explored the full power of ICT in both teaching and learning. So we recognize that would be some of our next action. The next action could be focused on developing more skill in information technology to be able to make teaching and learning more effective. In the next presentation, we're going to present the course revision process and results of 3 specific course within our 8 course that under revision during the participations of the project. So in our next presentations, so we're going to present the process of revisions following the contents that applicable that been applied for all of 3 next presentation, in which we're going to introduce to the course syllabus before revision, and we also presented the revisions process that been applied the project methodology, and then we will presenting the results after revisions, how the course syllabus will change. And finally, we also discussed the challenge along the revisions of the course syllabus. So please continue with our next presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
We are coming to the last one from University of Social Sciences and Humanities.
Hello, my name is Bùi Đoàn Nhân Thảo, and I've taken part in the funded project ICT Enable in-service training of teachers to address sustainability. Today, I will present how my course, business course, have been changed since towards sustainable development after we joined the project. Business law is a course we provided in International University of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. For today's presentation, I will introduce quickly about what is business, what we do in business law, and how it's looked before we joined the project, and now how it changed towards sustainable education. When we heard about the word sustainable education, at the beginning, I still really don't understand what does it mean. But after we joined the project, so we understand that sustainable education is a key element to help the UN to achieve the one of the key elements. Also, is the goal for the United Nations development sustainable development goals to achieve by 2030. So from my understanding, to have the to achieve the sustainable development goal set up by the UN, we need humans. We need people to act for those goals. And in order to have those, to achieve those goals, people need to have skills and knowledge to act as the active citizen or global citizens to achieve for the sustainable development. And this is why we say to have the people, to have enough skills, to train the people to become the global citizen. Education plays an important role in this project. So this is why, in my opinion, I think that education, sustainable education, is a key element. It's also the UN to achieve the sustainable development. And today we will. I will explain how my business law will change through the project. So business law is one of course law in the business administration undergraduate programs at International University, and it's designed for the third year student. And every year we will have about 500 students per term. During this course, we will provide the general knowledge on the business activities, legal knowledge on the business activities. So, for example, how we sign a contract, how to make the contract valid, how to perform the contract, how to set up the business legally, something like that. So basically, because before we joined the project, our aim at the program is just to satisfy the industry demand on. So this is why the business law in this case just say that we provide fundamental knowledge on the business for the student on the business law and improve their critical thinking, problem-solving skill, and apply knowledge to solve the legal issues. So you see, basically, before we join the project, the business law aim just focus mainly on the knowledge and some problem-solving skill for students. So we don't raise their awareness about their responsibility towards the global issue or something like that in business law, and because we haven't recognized as as a lecturer, we haven't recognized our responsibility toward the sustainable education. So this is why we haven't put any information related to sustainable development or moving forward to train for students to become global citizens in our course. And of course, so but the key point for us to join, before we join into projects, the main key point we focus into just applied the knowledge, legal, critical thinking skills, and problem-solving skills. So that is some skill we focus on, and the methodology we use for this course is mainly traditional teaching. So basically, a teacher will lecture student, and student will observe and will listen to on the knowledge, and they work through the course together. And basically, the teacher will place the main role, wouldn't be the main person, the key person in the course, and students just have to follow teacher. So so therefore we don't say that we actually give the student, we empower student ability to raise voice, to give the chance to practice their skill, to build the knowledge, to become the global citizen. They just receive the knowledge from a teacher instead of raise voice and share their opinion. So this is why at that time we still don't understand what does it mean sustainable education, and how we have to move forward to that, and how we improve that. So this is why that is what we teaching and what we use during the course before we join the project. And for the classroom activity, it's still like traditional one, teacher just talking. We still put students working in groups, but we don't raise their awareness or their responsibility to work, to learn, to share, to learn to live in society, to work as a global citizen. And we still use some tools like the ICT tool to in the course. For example, we ask students to use Blackboard and PowerPoint presentation, but we haven't used the tool to enable or training or building student skill to become the global citizen, or to empower students to raise their voice through this channel yet. And of course, at that time, the teacher plays the main roles in the course. So this is why we say at this time the projects, everything, the assessment, we just assess based on the teacher only. We haven't empowered students to give them the chance to evaluate themselves. So in this case, we see that we apply the assessment for students as time it's just final examination, midterm examination, and quizzes, all drafted by the teacher. So for the assessment process, in this case, we haven't had the student involved in the assessment process here yet. So that's what it looked like before the project. And when we join the project, use ICT to enable the sustainable development education, sustainable education. We was introduced with the Corey Plus method. So we use that method to break down our syllabus, break down our teaching methodology, break down, we revise on our teaching methodology, our class activity assessment to see what we do with the course and which one we have and which one we lack of the goal to empower student, or we revise on the course to find out which aspects we have a mix or which we missing in the sustainable education. And after the course, we find out that yes, this course before we just focus on apply knowledge, critical thinking, and problem solving. So it's not enough to train students to become the global citizen, or it's not enough to move forward to sustainable education. So for the sustainable education, we are aware that we need to make sure that we need to ensure the justice in our classroom for the law teaching, because the subject is not involved in economic or environmental. So, but at least in our course, we can ensure the social justice and the cultural justice by the fact that we let students work in group with each other for them to help people who shy, who cannot raise voice, to raise voice. That means that we ensure the social justice already. And for cultural justice, we make sure that they all working with each other, irrespective their genders, their class, their well-being status or anything. So our course, at least normally, we have to ensure those things in our course. So when a student can raise their awareness on the social and cultural justice, they working toward for those justice in the course. That means that they already for them in the future when they work in a society, they know what they need to do to maintain, to ensure the social and cultural justice. And also we understand that after we go through the Core Plus methodology, we understand that for students to be the active learner, they need to know that they need to understand that what they doing, what they learning, they need to understand the knowledge, and they need to link all the knowledge together to apply the knowledge and exchange the knowledge. So this is why for the course, beside the student, before the student just learn to know only, they learn to memorize stuff. So now for this course, I try to make sure that students from learn to know, they learn to be, they learn to do, learn to share, and learn to transform, and learn to live together in the course through the activities we use in the course. And we try to make sure that we encourage students to use the ICTs to break down their barriers, to talk with each other, to discuss with each other, to bring them closer with each other. So this is why from after we join the project, we understand about those things. So this is why the core objective, we modify the core objective from they just focus on the legal knowledge and problem solving skill. Now beside focus on providing students with the legal knowledge, we also emphasize that we need to raise the student awareness, responsibility toward the sustainable development, toward the social sustainable justice. And also we ensure that students can have the skill to use the ICTs, intellectual communication tools through their course. They learn to how to use those courses. And also I try to make sure that students understand that they need to act as the ambassador to end up or to protect the planet, to protect the justice in the future as well. So that's the core objective we have changed after we join the project, and after we use the Core Plus methodology, we analyze it and we come up with the the new kind of objective, and with the new objective, we ensure that students are aware that their responsibility toward the sustainable development, besides just only focus on legal knowledge and problem-solving skill only. And to move forward to the sustainable development, now we apply the student-centered approach. We let students involve, we empower students, give them the right to involve in the learning process and the assessment process. When we ensure the student involved in the student learning process and the and the assessment, that means we already, for the course only itself, already ensure the social and cultural justice in the course already. And because I want the student to understand their responsibility toward the justice, the sustainable justice. So this is why we had to change the methodology. We have to make them understand the situation and their responsibility. So this is why we give them the chance, we empower them, we give them a chance to learn, find out the knowledge by themselves, involve in the learning by themselves, and use the ICT to find all the knowledge. And teacher just back to the stage, just work like the instructor, guide them to through the process instead of give them all the knowledge and tell them everything they need to do. And for the classroom, to make sure that we student can to make sure that we empower students in the classroom activities and assessment activity. We encourage students to use the computer, use all the technology, for example, Google, Facebook, MS Teams, group chat, or some other tools to they can to discuss with each other, to find out the information, to link the knowledge together. Especially in my course, I encourage students to use the mind map tools to link the knowledge together, because I understand that when we need to solve a problem in the future, we need to understand the knowledge and we need to link all the knowledge and skill together. So this is why I always encourage my students to use the mind map tool to help them to strengthen their logic arguments, and to build to link the knowledge together for them to apply it in the field for them to summarize the knowledge, also for them to reflect, to see that what they learned from before the course and what they discuss in the class with teacher, how it's different with each other, and how they change and how they have to change and move forward to the correct knowledge. And when they learn that one, they wrote it out in a mind map. This is a way for them to summarize their knowledge together and reflect themselves through the course as well. And for the and these activities I built based on the CARE methodology. So basically, with the process that I asked the student to use the ICT tools at home to find out knowledge about something, so before the class, they have general knowledge about something. In class, we discuss with each other, and I pointed out what students learn before the class. Is it right or wrong, and why is right, why is wrong. We discuss with each other, and then we expect that after the discussion, students reflect themselves to know that, okay, what they learned from before class is right or wrong, and why is right, why it's wrong. And then after that, they summarize their knowledge to move forward, to find a way to achieve the correct knowledge, learn to change their thinking towards the correct way. And after that, they write it down in the methodology. So basically, after that, they write it down in the mind map to link it, to reflect it, to show it how they understand through the course. So basically, now with the CARE methodology, we try to make sure that students can kind of conceptualize about something. They actively discuss, engage in the classroom, and reflect themselves through their activities to ensure that we empower them through the learning course, the learning process. So everything the student learn by themselves and gain the knowledge by themselves. They share the knowledge with people and discuss with people. Teacher to be there to help them only. So that's the way we try to ensure that we ensure the social and cultural justice. So basically, between the student and the lecturer now is equal each other. So we share the knowledge with each other, not like before. We force students to listen to us. And to empower students, we ensure that they join into the assessment process. So before to ensure that it's fair for students, we make the clear marking criteria so students can know exactly what they are being marked and why they get that score for something like that. And also we create the peer evaluation for students to evaluate their friends, and they evaluate themselves as well. We have the self-evaluation for students to self-evaluate themselves to see that whether they meet the course learning objective or not, whether they understand, they achieve the legal knowledge, they gain the legal knowledge through the course or the business activities, and also whether they understand their responsibility to help other people, and whether they gain enough skill and knowledge to be the active learner or not as well. So they are the ones who accept themselves. So we give them the power to do that. And because why we come up with this solution, because after we applied the Core Plus and methodology to revise the core, to change the business, to change the classroom activity, and then we use the DREAM methodology to take up to collect the student opinion, feedback about the course, and we realize that some students still haven't realized their responsibility towards sustainable development, and they still not sure that they gain some important skill to become the global citizen. So this is why we have to change the way we approach. For example, I explain to them through that result. I change some assessment and some introduction to the course to make sure that students understand that why we apply this assessment, why we apply this activity, what we expect from those activities, why we let them to join the assessment process, because we want to make sure that we empower them. We try to ensure the social and cultural justice in our course. So from that one, after that, I see that what I heard from students, that they understand their responsibility toward the sustainable development. Now they understand why they have to act actively in the classroom, why they need to involve in assessment, and their responsibility, with the assessment. So that's why they take it seriously for the assessment process. But the challenge we have is after I deliver this course for about 2 years with continuously changing and improvements. And what I find out is students still find it difficult to understand sustainable education, and they still find a little bit difficult to shift from traditional learning to active learning. And one of the problems they tell me, is they don't know how to have the effective group discussion. So basically, I told them that in group discussion is one of the activities to help them to ensure the social justice and cultural justice, and they need to learn to share and learn to live together. So this is why they need to not just only share their opinion, they need to help their friends to raise voice and to share opinion as well. And they find out that they really don't know how to make it effectively, because some friends they not really want to share opinion, and they always ask me how to approach them, how to help those students to raise voice. Are there any technique? Are there any way? Are there any methods to help them? And I still working on it to find out a way how to have the effective group discussion. And one of the big problems students feel is dealing with a lot of workload, because they have to prepare the lessons and they have to actively learn and search for information. So different with traditional learning, they just come into the class with a book, a notebook, and write down what teacher say. But now they have to work a lot, so they feel that they still get used to it. So I still find the way how to balance the workload for student is okay. It will be grateful if we can discuss further something to help with how to have the effective group discussion and how to reduce the workload in the active learning. For the understand sustainable education and ensure the course objective. At the beginning, a few terms at the beginning when we change the course, we divide the course. After we revise the course, we apply the new change to the course. Students haven't understand the sustainable education, and we still ensure how the core objective can be achieved. But now I already learned the way how to do it. That means that I have to explain clearly to students how we achieve, which activity we build based on which kind of course objective, and how it's linked with the sustainable education. And now the student understand it, but it still has some difficulty with the workload and group discussion. So this is why it will be grateful if anyone can share how they can help their student to have or maintain the good or effective group discussion or reduce the workload in the classroom. And if you have any idea about this one, I feel very grateful if you can share it with me, so I can improve it and I can help my student to have this one toward the sustainable development as well, sustainable education. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for all presenters, and we have listened and watched the presentation. Many subjects are selected, different subjects selected, and different response of the student are we observe. So it seems that I think that a lot of questions in our mind about that one, because of this diversity of the subject, the diversity of the response. So I open this floor for discussion. Lot or plenty of time we have, because it's allocated 40 minutes actually for each presenter, but we only use around 30 minutes each. So plenty of time. So is there any, if there is any question? No question? Yeah. One more? Which one? One more? Oh, very sorry. Because I thought University of Social Sciences? No?
Hello everyone, I'm Hoon from the Faculty of Education, USSH. Today I'd like to share about the process of constructing and reconstructing the courses to address education for sustainability. So this is an outline of my presentation. Firstly, I'm going to give you a brief introduction about our context, the methodologies that we use, its results, and finally its implications from the project. For the background of the project, education is crucial for personal and social development, and there are many scientific evidence have proved that it is essential in shaping the global sustainability. For this reason, higher education has to take responsibility to equip students with sustainable development knowledge, skills, and attitudes to become engaged citizens. And in line with the universal call to act for sustainable development, Vietnam government has adopted several policies, such as in 2004, the Vietnamese government approved Agenda 21, and in 2010, sustainable development is one of our nation's top priorities. In 2011, sustainable development was integrated into K-12 at both formal and non-formal forms. Continue with that, in 2016, Vietnam introduced its National Action Plan for Sustainable Agenda. In 2017, the Ministry of Education and Training expressed his commitment to sustainable development by adopting the decision 2161. And in 2018, they continue to give and approve the new general education. This new generation officially integrated ESD in developing learner qualities and competencies. Although a wide range of sustainable development policies have made to integrate the sustainability in general education curricula, its implementation in practice has revealed many challenges that call for the innovative teaching strategy to address these issues. This is a summary of the context that we get involved in the project. So based on this diagram, you can see we have the scientific evidence, and we also look at the global goals for sustainable development, both at global partnership and in our own context with our own policy, and the constraints that we encounter during the implementation process. And I would like to emphasize that a high level of education does not necessarily lead to the high level of sustainability thinking, being, and living. So this is the conclusion, the statement of McCracken in his study in 2012. In responding to this, there is the urgent need to address sustainability in the innovative way. And the second part, I'm going to share about the methodologies used in the project. Following the method that we call for DCORE. This method has 6 steps. And at the first step, we evaluated students' existing knowledge, their perspectives, and based on this result, we critically analyzed our curriculum and selected 12 courses to be constructed. And in the third step, constructing over here, we constructed these 12 chosen courses with SDGs infusion, which based on the 4 dimensions of sustainability and the 6 learning pillars. After creating ideas to the course and gathering relevant resources, we proceeded to the fourth step to reconstructing it with the integrating ICT-enabled education for sustainability. The implementation was carried out afterward, which used DREAM approach to deliver revised courses. And at the sixth step, we evaluate course to measure and to observe what students have learned and their changes. And as I mentioned earlier, DREAM was applied during course delivery. What does DREAM mean? DREAM stands for diagnose, review, explain, assess, and manage. Applying this model in course implementation and its results will be presented later. And this is a summary of our key results. We selected 12 courses at the 4 faculties at USH for revision, which comprise both elective and compulsory courses. And in each course, we identify and selected relevant SDG to integrate into the course, as you can see in this table. For example, Introduction to the Sociology of Education, we integrate the SDG number 4 and number 5. But for the internship 3, we integrated the SDG 6, 8, and 10. And for the course Developmental Psychology, we integrated the SDG 3, 5, 10, and 16. Together with Sustainable Development Theme Infusion, the 10 skills, or we call it 10 Cs, also were defined and chosen according to the course objectives and learning outcomes. And this is the feature of the course revised. In the table, you can see the version of the course before the revision and the version of the course after revision. There is a difference between the first and the second revision. And the difference in terms as course objectives and its learning outcomes, course structure, teaching strategy, learning materials, and assessment form are described as you can see in this table. And this is the key findings from DREAM approach. Following this circle, the diagnosis phase was carried out at the first meeting of the course, and the review explain was implemented at the first half of the course. And at the last course meeting, we assessed students' technical knowledge, skill, and their sustainable development competence. And I want to emphasize that the DREAM result was seen as a course requirement in which all students had to accomplish. All their feedback and contribution related to the course delivery were used in their portfolio. And this is some key finding from the diagnosis phase based on the survey. We see that majority of students were familiar with teamwork and presentation skills only. More than half of the students had never worked on a project or written work similar. There are only small portion of the students were able to draw a concept map. And moving to the third, to the review and reflection phase. In this step, we try to collect students' feedback on the teaching activities, and they give some ideas about the course. Firstly, according to them, they said that they freely express their opinions on specific issues related to sustainable development, and they were confident. They confidently took part in addressing them. The course also improved their ability to live responsibly as an agent of change in their own community. And they also share that they have mastered their ICT skills during the course. Although the revised course have brought some positive changes in terms of their knowledge, skills, and also their perception related to the sustainable development. Some challenges were also reviewed in their feedback. In the last step, we assessed student learning by giving them the questionnaire and ask them to write the reflection paper to be ordered to collect the course impacts on their learning. The result shows that majority of the students were able to create a representative concept map based on the learned content they had learned. And they also share that their knowledge about technical knowledge and also sustainable development knowledge were updated and deepened. In addition, the course also improved their professionalism for future careers. For example, they know what to do and they are sensitive enough to the problem and to the issues are happening in their own community that they will use their specialized knowledge and skill to be able to address it in the sustainable ways. They also observed that they were more disciplined and responsible for existing problems as a result of the course. And they also show their interest in creating a video clip. According to them, this clip helped them to raise others' awareness of sustainable development, and this is also the tool for them to influence their actions to address specific issues. The course also influenced, in other words, it changed students' attitudes, responsibility, and willingness to take action in support of sustainable development. And based on their feedback, we also collected some challenges that the course, both a teacher and learner may encounter. Firstly, during my course of time for students to get used to it and give detailed and reliable feedback, because they were not familiar with giving the feedback by putting their name in the form. And another issue is that there is a controversial issue for both teachers and administrators in how to integrate SDG into the course. At the same time, we have to meet other requirements of the curriculum. This is also the big challenge for us as a lecturer who take responsible in teaching on these courses. And this is the implication we draw from the implementation process. Firstly, both of us, students and lecturers, have benefited greatly from ICFS project in terms of our knowledge, our competence, our pedagogy, and also our awareness towards sustainable development. And the course also empower every single learner the ability to participate and take action to advocate, to promote for sustainable world. And sustainable development also requires comprehensive integrated planning in the syllabus. It means that we cannot teach the SD without look into the syllabus systematically from the objective to its learning outcome as well as its learning materials. Furthermore, incorporating ESD into the piloted courses is a romantic perspective, and our implementation contributes to our institution's long-term viability by supporting its mission and vision towards sustainability. and other implications we draw from our implementation. The infusion of ICT-enabled education for sustainability demonstrates our commitment to SD and to the national SD framework in particular. And last, and also very important for all of us, by applying DREAM approach, it allows continuous improvement. This approach is consistent with the decision 2161 adopted by the Ministry of Education, with its goals to enhance and to develop learners' competence in terms of sustainable development. And these are the key results, its implications I'd like to share to all of you. Thank you for your listening.
Welcome to the deconstructing, constructing, and reconstructing through the lens of SDGs of model theories of education. And we are from the USSH, Vietnam National University in Ho Chi Minh City. And as you can see over here, the model theory of education course is designed in order to equip the learners with knowledge, skills, and attitudes that can adapt with social changes and contribute to the development of economic, society, and environment. Moreover, this course is a foundation for the students who are going to become the future educators. And those future educators, they need to be adaptive with many changes and disruptions in the real life. Therefore, this course was chosen for revisions with the desires to deliver the students with not only the knowledge, skills, and attitudes, but also instruct them how to solve the sustainability issues related to their major and maintain their achievements sustainably and keep delivering what they have learned to the next generations of learners. And as regards the numbers of students attending the course, it varies from years to years. However, there are around at least 80 to 100 students each academic year, and the model theory of education is planned for the second year students. Those sophomore, they need to complete the 2 courses first before taking the model theory of education. Those 2 courses are general psychology and pedagogical psychology. And to be more detailed about the number of the students, in the academic year of 2020 and 2021, the number of students attended this course were 82. And this number were 112 students in the academic year of 2021 and 2022. So in the case of key content themes, as you can see, this course is developed as a basic system of sustainable educational theories comprising 4 different parts. The first part is general theory of education. This part provides the primary knowledge of educational science, the purpose and goal of education, the role of education in socio-human development and socio-cultural awareness of the societal goals. The second one is the theories of learning. This part addresses the background knowledge and models of learning theories such as behaviorism, cognitive theory, and social learning theories, etc. And this part gives a diverse approach, instruments into teaching and learning in various contexts. The third one, as you can see over here, is didactics. This one focuses on the scientific knowledge system, teaching process like teaching and learning activities, principle of learning, methods and forms of teachings. This requires the skill for teaching and applying didactics in practice. And in the last part is about theory of educational studies. And this comprises basic knowledge of structures, characteristics, principles, missions, contents, and the methods of the process of educating. So I would like to mention some details of the course before joining the project. Lecturing is taken as the main teaching method of the whole course, like traditional way, and the content of the course before the first revision has not considered the sustainable development goals, the 6 pillars of learning, and the tenses in many details. It actually is only focused on delivering the foundation knowledge and skills for the students in order to make sure that the students could meet the requirements of the learning outcomes. In the learning outcomes, in some contexts, the learning outcomes had not dealt with education for sustainability. And for the assessment and evaluation, the whole course only focused on the summative assessment, and students did not have many opportunities to implement the ICT in their learning activities, since even teaching staff had not been well equipped with how to integrate ICT into the classroom environment, and the infrastructure, the facilities seem to be a huge drawback over here. And talking about the tenses, the 6 pillars of learning, actually in some aspects they were addressed, but very shallow. And so that the sustainable development goals, especially the quality of education, the fourth goal of SDGs, the quality of education, it has to be pointed out that there were no specific skills or contents related to the quality of education that can arouse the students' awareness on the role of education in the sustainable development or aim to achieve the universal access at higher education level. So what happened to the course after joining the project? So after the first revision, there are significant enhancements for the course, and some of the most noticeable gaps that are filled in the course can be mentioned over here is the course learning outcomes, the course content, the evaluation, and the assessment of ICT's competence. The whole course, Module Theory of Education, has experienced many significant changes after the processing of the Core Plus and DREAM methodology. And in fact, it is worth pointing out that before the revision, the aspect of sustainable development was not paid enough attention, and actually in some other aspect, they were not mentioned or just mentioned at all. However, changes have been made. After joining the project, the students are instructed to experience different educational contexts on their own. They can apply the theory to external society of themselves, and they can have diverse perspectives on educational issues. Besides, they can plan to have solutions in order to enhance the Vietnamese educational situation according to the sustainable development values and principles. Also, why they can, at the same time, they can integrate the ICT skills to conduct effective final assignments and presentation flexibly, and they can confidently present their ideas and solutions like a modern and active citizen, as well as a future strategic educator in the world of the fourth industrial revolution. So next will be the learning outcomes. As regards the learning outcomes have experienced many innovations. To be more detailed, they are expected to explain the role of education in socio-human development, or they are expected to analyze, explain the concept of nature, the content of elements, tasks, principles, and activities of reflective quality educational process. Or they have to distinguish the requirements, duties of teachers and class teachers in Vietnam to enhance the educational process toward the ESD. Next, They are expected to explain and give critiques to the viewpoints or the strategies or the solution for current situation of Vietnam education development for sustainable development. Next one, that they can select and apply principles, methods, and forms of organization of teaching to align with objectives and subjects, and they can develop and promote a passion in teaching, characteristics and qualities of a teacher in order to live in a changing world. Besides that, they are expected to be foster the interest in learning, researching, and solving problems. The last one is that they are expected to produce a video of teaching demonstration which can last from like 20 to 30 minutes. So, the feedbacks from students in DREAM methodology have seen that the students understand very well their position and responsibilities in the environment they are living in, and the crucial growth, as well as the crucial growth of education on themselves, on their family, and toward the whole society. In addition, they have the ideas that learning and having quality education can help them to change their own mind, their perspectives in real life situation in order to solve the issues which can lead to sustainability. Moreover, the course was reconstructed with 5 modules based on the templates of the ICT EFS course modules, and each module comprised the key concepts, overview, aims, learning outcomes of each module, the unit, the reading tasks and activities that will be delivered. The activities over here are designed and digitalized to take the advantages of information technology to improve the students' and teachers' abilities in ICT. Besides that, the sustainable development factors such as the sustainable development factors, they are organized and integrated into each teaching and learning activities so that the students can have a deep understanding of those notions and can act toward those 6 learning pillars, not only in their study but also during their later lifetime. Other elements of 10Cs have been integrated into the brand new course. And I would like to take the 10Cs as an example for like what happened after the revision, after joining the project. So the C is like about the collaboration and co-responsibilities. Here the students, they understand the roles and responsibilities in a group. They understand that in order to solve the problems and meet the requirements, they have to work like collaboratively, and they need to have each other. About the communication, the next C is like by collaborating, the students have more opportunities to interact with peers and instructors. With the forum discussions on the learning management system or emails, those are the main channels for the communicating. The forum discussion on learning management system, the LMS, they provide the students who are shy to raise their voice inside a physical classroom a chance, a precious opportunity to express their own ideas and freely discuss with others without much hesitation in comparison with what happens inside the real classroom. The next is about critical thinking. The students are provided opportunities to experience different educational contexts on their own, and they can apply theory to the external society, have diverse perspectives on educational issues, and plans to have solutions. Creativity is the next one. This focus that like the students that they are encouraged to find and share with peers and instructors the new resources they can find that are useful for the course and how to integrate them into their study creatively. The students do not have to stick with what provided by the instructors. That's the point of creativity over here. The next one is constructing knowledge. So the students construct the knowledge from provided theories and cases and apply them to solve given scenarios and figure out the best solutions to enhance the Vietnamese educational situation. As the task. And critical reflection is the next one. So forum discussions on LMS encourage the students to practice their critical thinking skills. When sharing, debating, and protecting students' perspectives with their peers and teachers. And all the online platforms that are used to support the learning activities here, such as quizzes, Kahoot, or Padlet, or some quizzes that are developed on LMS. Those are very helpful for teachers and learners to evaluate and reflect on the process of the student learning. And each unit and activity in the course are aligned with the learning objectives and provide the opportunities for all students to express their own strengths and improve their weaknesses. The student will receive all the feedbacks directly from the teachers or via LMS forums, or those feedbacks are constructive for their learning. Besides that, we have observation. Observation is seen as a part of assessment of the course, besides quizzes, portfolio, or assignment, and moreover, implementing ICT into the course can help the student deploy their creative potential and gain more and more interest in what they are studying. The revision has brought many benefits to both teachers and students of the course. Nevertheless, it is worth pointing out that the SDGs are still a new area for students and even for some lecturers. And in fact, it's a required well-planned route for the students to get to know and be acquainted with the SDG before they can apply into the real-life context. But according to many researchers, the current programs and methods that are used to prepare educators to meet the sustainability challenges remain very limited. So this is first about the challenge about the preparations for both teachers and for the student for sustainability. The same challenge happened in implementing the RIM methodology. This approach, in fact, has proven its strength in assessing a course, but to make changes in order to improve it, it may cost a lot of time for the students to get used to it and give detailed and reliable feedback. Therefore, the teachers, they have to spend the time with students, like lots of time with students on what and how to do this RIM methodology, which will be resulted in a portfolio. Two more of the limitations are, the first one are time consuming and the second one is about labor intensive. So as the teachers, they are struggling with heavy workload. Applying the Core Plus or DREAM and introducing a new notion of SDGs may cost them a lot of time, which may become a controversial issue for both teachers and administrators in how to keep the quality of education and follow the SDGs but still meet the other requirements of the curriculum. So that's the end of the presentation about the module of theory of education. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah. So we have 50 minutes until the schedule. So plenty of time. Is there any question? Because we discussed so wide subject and different subject, different result, different difficulty. So might be some discussion.
The presenter of the last presentation is here now in this room or is online?
This is that thing. The last presentation. Vienna. Yeah.
That's not here. She's not here.
She's not here.
Because she mentioned that the online classes encouraged. Yeah, she mentioned that the.
Close your microphone when the others.
She mentioned that the online classes encouraged the shy students that they were not participating in the classroom to participate in the online platform. I agree, of course, that this could be the case, yes. But there are other techniques that should be used as well in order to encourage these shy students, to encourage them to participate in the classroom without the ICT. Yeah, because the ICT won't ever replace the physical classroom. It is a supplementary tool. So it's not a question, it is a comment just crossed my mind and I love to share it.
This is not a question, but I agree that also with that comment.
Yeah. You will talk to me now? Say again. Okay, so I don't need this though. Online teaching encouraged the Chinese students that they were not participating in the physical classroom to participate online. Of course, I know that this is a fact, but we don't want to have the mindset that the online education is addressing this, I would say, problem. So there are many other tools that we may use physically in the classroom to encourage child students to participate. But we don't want to embed in their minds that not participate in the class and you have to this will be always it will be like a running phenomenon. No? Of course, we need students to participate always, either online or offline.
I think that she some online tools to facilitate opinions encourage some of students who are more shy, who are not very active to take
Raise their hands.
The voice is best to have
Yeah.
take time to give opinion and after that they will have more
Participation. Yeah, but I don't want to follow the trends that the online class is to be used for one of the purposes of using the online class is to encourage the child students to participate, no?
This is not online. It's some online, some
Online.
activities in the learning.
Even if yes, but child students, we may give them the lead in the classroom to participate, or we may do role plays for them and let them participate by doing the role play. Yeah.
Thank you for
Because we should take have same idea that students should not only active just online to when they do not receive their face directly, but also we have to encourage them and active for even when they make their peers.
Yes.
Okay. So other question, I think, Munian.
Yes, I have some questions for the business law course from IB. Yeah, because it's interesting because in the morning the courses are for like teacher and business, but for IB, your courses in this particular course is about business law. So my question is, because for example, like in sometimes the law might not be as updated as the issues for sustainability. You know, for example, the penalty for doing certain things might be very outdated. So is that addressed in the course? You need to make changes. And in doing that, how you ensure sustainability justice is also
So I think, please, without your collecting the question, I think it's much more interactive or direct answering.
So I just from my point, my opinion, SCJ is just not just only about the content of the course. It's also about the way you manage the school and the classroom activity and ensure students. When you ensure students can be treated equally, or you can make sure that they can work with each other. To share their opinion, to work with each other, with no discrimination on genders or cultural or something like that. That's it. I think that's also is to the so basically it just need to protect. To be honest. So this is how we, because of the law we have, it is quite it's quite strict text, right? So that's how we place student awareness of justice.
Thank you very much, because it's also, I think, related to mind, way of thinking. I think it is not only how to teach, but also changing the mind. That is why it is very related to the subject. So, other question may arise. Please, Professor.
I think we have to finalize for this afternoon. They are very good questions. We had very interesting presentations from two Indonesian partners and our Vietnamese partners. With the exception of UP, which is an education institution, we have this diversity of different disciplines from the other institutions, which bring a new dimension in the project. Because as you see, much emphasis was put in the very beginning on teacher education. But at the same time, we had institutions like the museum and, of course, the National University, and to some extent, University of Social Sciences and Humanities, with a greater diversion of disciplines. And this brought, I think, new thinking within the project. And we learned many things from your own contribution. And this also shows the interdisciplinarity and cross-disciplinarity perspective, which has to be one of the key, I would say, drivers for implementing courses that focus on education for sustainability. So I was a bit skeptical, 3 years ago about it, how to converge, all these disciplines, because in the field of education, it's much more easy, because although there are different subjects, there is much more flexibility for cross, disciplinarity within. But to bring the others, it was much more difficult. I think business law was one good example. And I have a similar, case with international law in the South African project. So, and I think this was a good experience for me. Thank you very much for this, which just happened, but because we didn't get it, but I think this was a very good, for the development of the project. So thank you very much for your contribution. And we have to stop for tonight, this afternoon. Right. Some people, for our audience, the externals. So,